Welcome to Bible Study Together's daily dive into Titus. I'm Peter Schrock, the founder of Bible Study Together and a life and marriage coach at togethertransformed.com. We are in week 3 of our study, and this is the second day. In this video, I'll be going over the daily Bible questions and their answers. So, let's get started. What key instructions are given to older people? So in chapter 2 of Titus, there's a lot of instructions that are given to different groups of people. So we're going to cover a couple of these today. One of them are specifically the older generation, the older group of people. And, always this can vary based upon the dynamics of your group. How old do the people get? How young are the people? Sometimes this can slide back and forth of who's the older and who's the younger and different things like that. So, but nevertheless, let's jump in. Starts in verse 2 where it starts talking about these older people here. It says, older men are to be sober-minded, dignified, self-controlled, sound in faith, in love, and in steadfastness. Older women are likewise to be reverent in behavior, not slanderers or slaves to much wine. They are to teach what is good, and so train the young women to love their husbands and children. And it keeps going there. Older people, as they're getting older and as they're functioning in the church, they should become a source of stability within the church. They should become the kind of people who model love and faith and steadfastness. So, in regard to the older women, one of the big things, it says likewise. So I think they are also to be these kind of people, but also it adds in there that they're to be respectful and that they're to not slander people, that they should be careful with how they use their tongue. And I think those two things go together very closely, as in when we are respectful and reverent toward others, it causes us to put a guard on our tongue to not say things that would be damaging or tearing other people down. But one other thing, though, that is kind of unique here that I want to point out, is that Paul is instructing Titus to have the older women be teaching the younger women. And he doesn't say, Titus, explicitly, you go teach the younger women to do these things. He tells them to say to the older women that they should be teaching the younger women. Now, there's probably a number of reasons for this, but I think it's worth noting and taking a moment to acknowledge that. What key instructions are given to younger people? Well, one of the groups that Paul is addressing here is the younger crowd. And so most of this can be kind of broken down in verse 4 through 6. So let's kind of jump in here. It starts off kind of talking about the older women, but let's jump into here. All right. It says, I'm going to start a little bit in 3. It says, they are to teach what is good, and so train the young women to love their husbands and children, to be self-controlled, pure, working at home, kind, and submissive to their own husbands, that the word of God may not be reviled. And it says, likewise, urge the young men to be self-controlled. So some of the things that really stand out to me in this section are particularly that, Titus isn't explicitly instructed to teach the younger women, obviously, like we just said, but also that he's encouraging the younger women to focus in on their home, their children, and their husbands. And in our culture, in our society, there's a constant pull to try and get women out of the home. And I think this is something that, Paul is really pointing out that is not healthy. It's not good. We really should have women in the home. And I think there's a specific reason for that. And it's really because that women have kind of a superpower, I would say. And in that they have a greater ability typically to be more aware of the needs inside of a home. And as a result, if they're not in the home, a husband typically is probably going to be more narrow focused. They get more tunnel vision on different things. Often they focus on one project or thing at a time. And so as a result, if the wife is not in the home, if the wife is not there to be aware of these things, then the husband often just won't be aware of them at all and will miss them. And it will cause a deficiency and problems within the home. So I think God has kind of wired us in different ways, and he's uniquely positioned us to accomplish things. And having women in the home is a powerful, awesome asset. And this isn't to say that women should never be out of the home. In Proverbs 31, it obviously indicates that women can work out of the home, but that doesn't negate or detract from the fact that there should be a focus there in that space. And particularly in terms of younger men and stuff like that, the Paul's instruction is really that they should be self-controlled. And I think this is probably a pretty obvious reason for saying that, is because younger men often can be very reckless. And Paul's really encouraging Titus to urge them to think before they act. How are you going to actively apply what Paul is teaching you? I want to be a steady guy for my family in faith and love, and I want to model these things for them. So one of the big things in order to be able to do that is I need to be creating regular, I'm getting filled regularly with what I need. I need to be spending time in prayer regularly. I need to be spending time in the Word regularly. I need to be building the relationships that are going to support me in my life regularly. And I need to be taking care of myself, my body, my physical needs. And so in doing that, I can become a more steady, stable person who is sound in my faith and in my love and in my direction in life. So that wraps up things here for today, and we'll continue on again tomorrow.